Hi, welcome again to the Beer Temple. This is episode 68 or so.
Wow, that flew by.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I've got my wife, Margaret Quinn, with me again. Thank you for being here. And the beer that I chose for this episode, I did for two reasons. This is the latest Sam Adams seasonal. They just released it. It's been out just for a couple days. And it's called Alpine Spring. And it is a unfiltered lager. And there's two reasons I wanted to have it for the show. Other than just wanting to taste it, which I do for most beers that just come out onto the market. But the two reasons I wanted to have on the show were, one, I think it's saying a lot when Sam Adams, one of the more mainstays of the craft beer industry, the biggest craft brewer in the country by far, no one's even close, is doing an unfiltered, he's doing a Zwickel, a Kellerbier. The second reason is because I wanted to go all the way back to one of the earliest shows we've done, where I had a show about Kellerbier, about Zwickel, which is unfiltered lagers. And for those of you who might thought, what is this crazy style, or I'm never going to see one of these, or this is such a kind of obscure, antiquated style,
right.
I wanted to say to you guys, there you go. Now here's a mass market, more or less, Keller Zwickel beer. So when you and with your buddies, you're like, oh, have you had the new Alpine Spring? You go, oh yeah, it's a Keller beer. Zwickel. I don't know. It's in between the two. Whatever. So I just wanted to kind of bring it back around to say, that these styles are now in the mainstream, that it just shows how far the kind of the craft beer scene has come in America. And Sam Adams is brewing a Zwickel.
Even though how far it's come, it seems like in the last, 8 months or something like that. Because, up until maybe a year ago, I had never even heard of a Zwickel. I really didn't know what a Kellerbier was.
That's not quite true. You've known about Paracelsus for years.
Yeah, but I mean,
I hear what you're saying.
It was a big event if I ever saw one. It was like, what's this?
If you saw a Zwickel, it was like, and now more and more are coming onto the market.
Right, and not only that, but more and more people are drinking them at bars. Chris and I frequent a lot of bars. Surprise, surprise. And we have often seen people drinking Zwickels at bars now, and you can just see the glasses lined up on the bar, because a lot of times they're served in sort of an unusual glass. You might see them in sort of a pottery, like a type,
an earthenware glass is
yeah.
very traditional glassware for that. But also in glass as well. In fact, I don't like those mugs, and I've asked to say, oh, can I get the Zwickel, but don't give it to me in that stupid clay mug.
But I just realized, I recognize it just because it stands out. Like,
sure.
So you can look up and down the bar and
people
see
like
people
it
drinking
too.
out
Yeah,
of
I think it's a
those
good
mugs,
marketing.
And it's like, you know exactly what it is.
Right.
So it is very interesting that Sam Adams is on this as well, because it did feel like such an sort of, like you said, antiquated style, and now all of a sudden you're seeing it everywhere.
So let me just read. I'm going to read right from the label here. It says, this unfiltered lager is perfect for spring. Noble Tettnang hops, grown in the foothills of the Alps, give the brew a bright citrus and floral aroma and flavor. These are balanced by the slight crisp notes of two-row pale and honey. Okay, so it wasn't at all what I was hoping it would say. Okay, basically what what Sam Adams is saying is basically this is a combination, a hybrid between an unfiltered lager, a Helles, and a Maibach. Because it's a little bit higher in alcohol. It's 7% alcohol, which is a little bit high for a Keller, but basically a Helles is the maltiest of the German lager styles, basically, of the sessionable beers. And it's basically a Keller beer. I don't know why they're not just saying it's a Keller beer.
Because no one knows what a Kellerbier is.
Yeah, but that would be cool.
Well, hey, baby steps, man. Baby steps.
Yeah, I'm not complaining.
Right.
So it is a little bit higher in alcohol. Right like there in the Maibach range.
And you can certainly see that it's unfiltered just at first glance.
Yep.
You see the cloudiness, you see the haziness.
A nice golden haze. Kellerbiers can be quite dark. This is on the lighter side.
Absolutely. But some nice carbonation, just kind of like a pale gold, I would call it.
Yeah, which does lend itself a little bit more to the Zwickel style. Really, the only difference between a Kellerbier and a Zwickel beer is one, they don't stop the cask. They put it in a cask and let it sit, and they don't stop it with the second.
Max is making odd noises. All right, move along.
Okay, the dog. If the dog isn't making an odd noise, that's when I get concerned.
All right.
When I don't hear a chortling, snorting, slurp sound, I'm like, oh my God, the dog's dead.
Excellent point. Carry on.
Yeah. Anyway, Zwickel, Keller, nobody cares. Zwickels are more. Certainly, one person doesn't care. All right, let's give it a sniff.
Oh yeah, sniff. I was moving right to taste as usual.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it smells very spritzy. I can see for sure
like a spritzy lemon.
Mm-hmm, I can totally see why they kind of marketed this just at the cusp of spring. Even though God, it's going to be 60 degrees here in Chicago tomorrow. So who the hell knows what season it is anymore? But I can totally get why they just released this beer.
Yeah, I know the seasonal seem to be coming out earlier and earlier.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, some nice spritzy lemon.
But you get a nice kind of bready, yeasty undertone to it
absolutely.
as well.
You do get a lot of nice malt in it as well.
Yeah, it's nice.
But otherwise, I would say not a ton going on the nose.
No, I mean, I'm not getting a ton, but it's good. I mean, it's very subdued. You do have that nice lemon and a nice kind of bready flavor as well. I mean, take all the way, Zwickel all the way up with a taste, and this is exactly what I love. That nice kind of honeyed bread flavor to it, with a good crisp lemony spritz, as you said.
Yeah.
Highly drinkable, but still with a little bit like very soft mouthfeel from it being unfiltered.
I do get a lot of acidity in it as well, like that kind of that lemony spritz we've been talking about. Kind of coats your tongue. You do get a lot of that. At least I do get a lot of that kind of acidity. It's not harsh at all, but you definitely get that kind of tart, lemon.
Almost like you would from a wheat beer at times. Wheat beers have that kind of just a little tang to them.
Yep. This reminds me a lot of a wheat beer. If you know anybody who is into Blue Moons or Hoegaardens or one of those things, this might be a good beer. Hoegaarden.
Margaret, please.
Yeah, it's vulgar. This might be a good beer for those types of individuals to try to kind of broaden their horizons. As far as food pairings, I think this could go nice with roast chicken, which by chance we're having for dinner tonight, so this will be a very good bottle to have open for that.
Absolutely. I think like an herb roasted chicken would go perfectly with this beer. Really great. I love those bready lemony flavors to it. I love the tint of honeyed kind of sweetness to it. It's very crisp. It's got that little tart, just a little edge to it as well, like you would get from maybe some of these wheat beers. I'm very happy with the new seasonal offering from Sam Adams. I mean, they could have gone a million different ways. They could have done another buried wheat beer or something like that, which has their place.
Sam Adams seems to be really expanding their offerings in the last year or so. You guys have probably seen, I know we've seen these commercials kind of expounding on their seasonal selections and talking about their brewing process and stuff like that. So it really seems as though they're really embracing the craft aspect.
And they've also, I mean, some of the latest ones they've come up with are the Noble Pills.
Right.
Where they've done a Pilsner with all the noble hops, the German noble hops, and Czech noble hops. They also have done the, Latitude 48 IPA.
Yeah. I like that.
Which is cool. I do too. I mean, I've loved both of those. They also did a limited sample pack where they had the Noble Pills, where it was something like, it was a 6-pack where they had... It was broken out where they had single hop varietals of every single one that they used, and then the Noble Pills.
That's interesting.
In there as well. I mean, that's
interesting.
Pushing the envelope.
I think
and it's Sam Adams, so it's great. Back to this beer. I'm going to give this beer a 92. I think it's delicious. I think it's really good. And I would love this to be year-round. I mean, Zwickels are so hard to find. It would be great to be able to have this on tap. And I hope some of the craft beer bars kind of hop on to how good this beer can be and don't kind of put their nose up to Sam Adams, because this is a delicious beer.
It's a good point. I'll go 90 with it. Great beer, solid offering from Sam Adams. I'm not as partial to Zwickels as you are, so a little lower for me, but hey, still a delicious beer.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Go out and try this Alpine Spring. It is one that you guys should be able to find all across the country. They have very good distribution for Sam Adams. And that's about it. Let me know what you think about it. If you guys like the Zwickel beers, I'm trying to do more that are accessible to the viewers. Not only, Dark Lords and West Vletchen 12s and Bourbon County Rares, which have their place as well. You can find us on Facebook. Keep the comments and the reviews on iTunes coming in. I always like that. But until then, we've got a very nice Kellerbier to drink. And hopefully you do too, or will soon. Bye, guys.